What is up, my people? Mi gente, how we doing today? Welcome to another video. Let's talk about Mike Tyson and his upcoming fight against Jake Paul. Iron Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. What do we call Jake Paul? AARP. That's Jake Paul's uh boxing nickname. AARP or ARP. That's what we're gonna call him. Jake the ARP Paul. Jake Arp Paul. Because he's just fighting up but old people. Um, right? I think that's the name of the company, right? Let me look it up real quick. Is it ARP AARP? Because I don't wanna say, I don't wanna mess up my joke. But but yeah, I mean, what do you say about a fight like this, right? Um, it's almost, it's almost how can I say this? It's almost um I don't know if say hard to predict or kind of like not even worth predicting, I guess you could say. Um cuz it is not like one of these fights that really means anything. Cuz you think about it, if Mike Tyson loses, well of course he's old. He's an old guy. He's supposed to lose. And if he wins, it's like, okay, it's Mike Tyson. And Jake Paul, if Jake Paul wins, like even for him, is not good either. It's such a weird fight, such a strange, it's such a strange day and age that we live in. You know, and this isn't new, by the way. Old fighters facing off against young white fighters, and I'm sorry to make it about race, but it's happened before. They do it all the time. They bring back these fighters and they make them face a younger, Rocky Marciano used to do it all the time, right? Um, and there's others too, but I don't want to mention them because some of y'all are gonna get like, how dare you, But there's a couple of them. But what I'm trying to say is like it's just one of these fights that's just like weird and it's becoming more and more common, especially with Jake Paul, being the guy at the forefront of calling out all of these guys that are either not in boxing or extremely retired boxers. Um, and believe it or not, like for the people that we know, like at my age and slightly younger than me, they don't really see this as a flex from Jake Paul. But believe it or not, the younger viewers, like the Gen Z and younger, some of them like the fact that Jake Paul might beat the shit out of Mike Tyson. Not only are they believing that Jake Paul is going to win, but they're rooting for him, and they think it's a type of flex to beat up on an old guy, which is crazy. It's just I don't know. It goes to show like the mentality of the youth and why they like today's fighters, and they want to give today's fighters so much credit. American fighters, like for example, Shakur Stevenson, um, Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez. A lot of these fighters that haven't really or are not really doing much because Teofimo did do, a couple of things. But he hasn't been doing anything lately. He's just living off of the clout that he created in those couple of early years of his career, and now he's not really doing anything. He's just standing around pretending to chase fights, but not really actually making any fights happen. Um, and it goes across a lot with all these fighters. They believe that they deserve all the credit in the world when they haven't even fought anybody, for real, like anybody that's even a threat to them. Um, and this is the same type of thing, is where Jake Paul wants all the credit in the world for fighting an old guy who's walking around in a cane, who's huffing and puffing after like not even a minute of throwing punches, and he's already huffing and puffing. Look at the open workout that he had. I think it was 2 days ago, and it just doesn't seem like a good deal for Mike, in my opinion. But the thing is, like I said before, it's like I feel like Mike is happy, and I feel like Mike wanted this fight even more than Jake Paul, in my opinion. And that's part of the reason why I'm not as opposed to it or as um, unhappy about it. Because Mike Tyson, I feel like, is the main guy that wants this fight. Um, and he's happy. So, and who am I to tell like a guy, oh no, you're too old to do that. You're too, you're past your prime. You need to go sit down somewhere. The thing is, boxing and sports in general, it gives you a certain high when you enter the zone that becomes addictive to a lot of these athletes. Not just boxers, but just in general, athletes, you know, they miss the high of, being a player. And Mike Tyson is not the exception. I mean, he definitely misses boxing, and it's just a high better than any drug, in my opinion. It just um, doesn't compare. But and I think he's talked about it before. He's spoken about it. And I've heard rumors of him just um, I don't want to talk about that, but Mike is definitely one of these dudes. Um, but but let's talk about the style and his age, because I think that those two things combined are going to be, troublesome, or give me pause when it comes to this fight. And of course, you also have to take into consideration Jake Paul's youth, right? And what Jake Paul is gonna do. Um, so Jake Paul is not that hard to figure out. He's not like this crazy, high tech level fighter that is doing some crazy shit in there. He's trying to do is land that big haymaker. That's it. That's all he's trying to do. Um, his mindset is like, I'm gonna get you. That's pretty much his what he's trying to do in there. It's not that complicated. He's gonna throw a weak ass jab at you, and then he's always trying to land that haymaker, and it's kind of predictable. It's very predictable, actually. And you could force him into throwing the jab. I mean the haymaker as well. You could, if if he doesn't know what to do, he's gonna throw the haymaker. If he feels comfortable and he feels like he has you, he's gonna throw the haymaker. If he if you're beating him up and he's out of his comfort zone, he's gonna throw the haymaker. So it's his go-to punch. He loves his little overhand haymaker type wide shit. So um just expect that and counter it, or make him run into a shot before that thing even takes off. It's very predictable. Jake Paul's not, in my opinion, not that big a deal. Um, Especially for a professional fighter. You saw him get beat up by a professional who wasn't even all that, anyways. in the Fury guy. I forgot his name. Fury, one of the Furies. Um, so Jake Paul, we know what he's gonna do, and we know what he's about. He's not that complicated at all. But when it comes to Mike Tyson, that's where it gets a little complicated because Mike Tyson's old, like I said before, and the style that he has requires you to be in tip top shape in order for it to be, you know, effective. Um, and what do I mean by that? Mike Tyson is from the school of thought of Jack Dempsey, taught to him by um, Costamato and modified, by both Costamato and Mike Tyson in order to fit Mike Tyson's particular style and abilities. And so Jack Dempsey was a short guy, very very small guy. Well, not very small, but just short for the heavyweight division. He was a heavyweight, and at that time, you really didn't see. Well, no, actually, that there was a lot of shorter fighters back in the day. But you know, Jack Dempsey would knock out people that were 6 feet tall, 6 feet plus. Sometimes even 7 feet tall, and he would knock these guys out. So, and the way he did it, the way he would do it is through technique. It was, and he would talk about it in his books how he would go about it. The falling step. He knew how to maximize his shortness and play that to his advantage and minimize the tallness of most of his opponents. And excuse me, my throat's kind of parched. Do I have water? Oh, here we go. Drink water real quick. So yeah, Jack Dempsey, would go about it through technique. He was using technique, and we talk about his falling step. We would talk about certain things that you could do in order to gain better leverage and your punches to be more effective. He would, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I recommend you go read, Jack Dempsey's book. I think it's called Championship Fighting. Um, and Mike Tyson, adapted that style to him. Now, the thing about this style is that you have to be in tip top shape to do it. Number one, and number two, the way Mike Tyson modified it, it's very much nonstop, relentless attack. And think of this style as the Kaioken. I know you guys watch Dragon Ball Z. Kaioken is a technique that Goku used to use. Goku is the main protagonist of Dragon Ball Z, and he would use this technique called the Kaioken. And when he was under the Kaioken, he was faster, he was stronger, and every move that he had would be magnified times, whatever he would say, like Kaioken times 10, Kaioken times 20, Kaioken. He would just, um, he would just be better. Um, but the thing about it is that number one, he couldn't use it forever because it was detrimental to his body. His body would wear out, and it was also in the long term, it was bad for his heart. His heart could explode or whatever, which is part of the reason he got later on in the TV show. He got a heart attack, I believe. Um, so that's the same thing with Mike Tyson. This style, you know, it drains your energy because it's a constant movement forward, and a constant pivoting with your feet, constant pivoting around the lead foot, and a constant twisting of your upper body in order to move it out of the way, and then come back with a counter. Um, Constantly looking for openings, and what happens is in like 4, maybe 5 rounds, sometimes even 6, Mike Tyson would usually wear out. And this is him in tip top shape. By the way, this is him in his prime. Um, so just think about that. And the reason for that is because because of the style and the techniques that he was using require you to be in tip top shape. I remember I was watching a video from Showbiz. I know you guys know Showbiz the adult, and he mentioned try to do what Mike Tyson. He said try to do what Mike Tyson does, and see how hard it is. The thing is, I have tried it. I've tried it before. Everybody who's ever put on gloves and tried to be a boxer has tried to be like Mike Tyson and Ali, and Tommy Hearns and all of these fighters, and mimics them. And you could that's how you could tell what style is better suited for you. Mike Tyson's style, even though it's relentless and it's hard for people to deal with, it's also very taxing on your lungs. It's very taxing on your heart rate, and it's very taxing on just your body in general. You're gonna, especially if you're not used to it, you're going to lose energy a lot more faster than if you're just not moving that much. Um, and the thing is you look at the training and you look at the way Mike Tyson is training for this fight, and you realize that he's not really changing his style to adapt to his new body, which is an older body. An older body with that doesn't have his legs under him as well. And you've seen him walk around with a cane. Even when he's walking around now, he doesn't walk normal. He walks with a slight limp. These are things that as a fighter you look at and you start deciphering people. You start to break people down, start to size them up before even entering the ring. Mike Tyson is not 100%. Everybody knows that. A lot of people try to ignore it and say, "Oh, he's fine. He's still the same. He still got it." He doesn't. And a lot of people say, "Oh, there's gonna be enough." I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is. Um, I really don't know what to think about this fight. In the beginning, I had kind of mentioned this fight, and I said I wasn't going to do a prediction, which I'm not. I'm just going to talk about the variables, and but I'm gonna withhold my prediction because I don't feel like it deserves one, in my opinion. I don't feel like it's a real fight. Um, and I even find it hard to even get mad at it because, like I said, Mike wants it. Mike is happy about the fight, and I feel like Mike himself is the main guy that wanted this fight. And of course, Jake Paul is fine with it too. I mean, he's getting paid, and he might get the recognition from certain people. Um, but I think this is mainly for Mike, in my opinion. And it could be fixed. Who knows? It could be. I have no idea. And it wouldn't be that hard to convince people because, like I said, Jake Paul's not that good of a boxer. He's not that complicated of a boxer either. He's just I don't know. To me, he's like a street fighter that's been um, doing a little boxing, so he's a little educated, but he hasn't filled in the blanks, in my opinion. There's a bunch of holes in his game that a professional boxer, can exploit very easily. Um, but yeah, Mike Tyson is the good thing though is the other thing I was thinking about is like it's 2 minute rounds, so 12 2 minute rounds, which is an advantage for Mike because, like I said, his style and the fact that he's not the same anymore is going to drain him a lot faster. So if he used to last, 4 rounds, and nowadays he would probably last like around 2 rounds at tip top shape. You know, um, but since it's 2 minute rounds, it could extend his um his abilities for longer. And I know it sounds like I'm being harsh. It sounds like I'm being harsh, but I saw the fight between him and Roy Jones. And it just. I mean, yeah, there was flashes of old Mike, but I don't know. It just wasn't the same. Like, and that's like I said, like this is for Mike, kind of, I believe. Um, so we're just gonna have to see. I mean, if I was Mike Tyson, if I was Mike Tyson's coach, I would make him adapt a style similar to Canelo's, because Canelo he has, the same type of power as Mike Tyson, which means I call it torque power, and it comes through technique and torque in your body each time you throw a shot. So you put your whole body into each and every shot. But the thing about Canelo is that he paced himself, and his style is a little bit different to the point to where he paced himself with those shots, and he doesn't move around too much. He just kind of plots forward, and his footwear is a little bit more methodical than Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's a little bit more um, shifty with his he shifts around with his feet a lot more, and he's constantly you know moving his feet in his head. As where Canelo, he's not doing that much of that during the fight. He's more like moving forward, keeping his hands, his guard up, um, and trying to find an opening, trying to set up shots. And that's the reason why Canelo lasts so long within a fight, and he still gasses out because he has the same type of body. He's the same type of body type. So the way you break down a fighter, you look at him and you see the type of body he has. If he has like thick, if he's a thick boy like Canelo and Mike Tyson and some of these other guys, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna be explosive, and he's gonna have a lot of knockouts under his belt, right? and but they're also gonna gas out. Okay, and you look at Mike Tyson, you look at Canelo, and you look at other fighters that are like these guys, and you see the similarities. But you see that one guy has a better way to adapt his style for a 12 round fight, and Mike Tyson, he never really developed his style in a way that could last for 12 rounds. Um, yeah, and if I was his coach, I would have told him, look, Mike, you're not the same guy anymore. We're gonna have to change your style for a style that focuses on one shot, and you got to move less with your feet because your feet are not the same anymore. You're walking around with a cane. Your style requires tip top shape. You need to change your style. And the thing is, some people can't do that. Maybe Mike is one of those guys. But the thing is, a lot of fighters are able to change their styles and refurbish, or renew their careers, or rekindle their careers. One of them was Mayweather Senior. Another one was a kickboxer by the name of Superfoot Wallace. Both had an injury, changed their style, and were able to come back to boxing with a style that requires less um, time on your feet, or less footwork. Um, but the time is here, and he didn't do that, so we're just gonna have to see what's gonna happen, man. I mean, I don't know. Um, it is what it is. If I was Jake Paul, I would just cut my hair bald, because that's just, I mean, at this point, bro, like, just give up on the hairline, bro. It's kind of sad. But anyways, that's gonna be it for today. Hopefully, Jake Paul fights me next. I don't think he could get past my jab. To be honest with you, I don't think he could get past my jab, and he's gonna get frustrated, and he's gonna start throwing that haymaker, and that's checkmate for me, bro. But he's not gonna fight me because he's a pussy, and I'm not that famous. So, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.